Hey, by the way, tonight's game, New York wins that outright.
You know he's on top. Million subs, he never gonna flop. Out of Chicago, where the streets don't sleep. Betting on games, making cash real deep. Crystal ball for sports, he knows the lines. He's a sports aficionado, the money he finds. From football to basketball, he's always on point. Predicting winners never disappoints. He's got that hustle, that Chicago vibe. Making moves on the streets, cash on the side. With E, you know it's always a bet. He's the king of the game, never forget.
Hello and welcome to the Etoft21sports show for November 26th. How is everyone doing? My name is Erik. I'm the man behind Etoft21sports. Absolutely loaded episode for you today. My boy Jim, aka XFL Jim, him and I are going to look back at week 12 plus share our week 13 bets. And Gino will have his horse racing bet of the day from Churchill Downs. But before we get all that, I'd like to say thank you to the sponsor of the show, Boom Fantasy. If you're not using Boom Fantasy, go to the App Store, download the Boom Fantasy app, use promo code ETOFT21. That way they know old Uncle Rico sent you. Now let's see what Gino has cooking for us over at Churchill Downs.
Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. There's Thanksgiving Day racing at Churchill Downs on Thursday. Really good card with a couple graded stakes races. In race number 9, it is the Falls City. And I'm going to look for a little bit of price in here. The number 2, Tarifa, she'll probably be the favorite. She's going to take a lot of money. The 4, Musical Mischief, she'll also take a lot of money. I thought the 5, Enclosure, was interesting. Now, she used to be in the Bob Baffert barn in Southern California about a year and a half ago. She was highly regarded, but she had some physical issues. She would run, and then she'd have to have a couple months off, and she'd run, and she'd have to have a couple months off. So she moved barns, and she's now in the Bill Mott barn. In her 5 races for Bill Mott, she's run really well. She won 2 of them. She finished second in another, finished third in another. One of the races was on a sloppy racetrack, so you can just be forgiving for that. I think she's in a really nice spot here. She has some versatility. She's faster than she's been ridden in her last couple races. I think they're going to have her closer to the front end in here. I'm expecting a big effort because I'm just not overwhelmed by Tarifa and Musical Mischief. I think they're the horses to beat, but they're not really fun to bet at short prices. Enclosure might be. And don't forget, folks, right now, there's a Black Friday sale at drf.com. So if you go to drf.com and you want to take advantage, it's 20% off when you use the promo code Black Friday 2024, BF 2024. So you can get 20% off everything you need right there. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Make sure to give my boy Gino a follow at It's Me, Gino B, on Blue Sky, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, the whole 9 yards. I will be on his podcast, not this week, but next week, talking NFL and everything. Him and I will be live this Sunday, too, breaking down all the NFL action. Now let's bring on the special guest of the show, my boy Jim. Jim, how you doing today, my man?
I'm living large and in charge, Uncle Rico. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. You ready for this Thanksgiving holiday right around the corner?
Always ready for Thanksgiving. What's your dish? What's your favorite dish for Thanksgiving? I've been asking everybody.
You know what, dude? I need some stuffing, dude. I'm a stuffing guy. I'm a stuffing guy.
Stuffing is super solid. Stuffing is a really good one. I like to mash everything together for like the just slop, the Thanksgiving slop that you get. Like mix everything just on one plate. Get a little bit of everything in each spoonful. If I had to pick, there's 2 options for me for Thanksgiving. Stuffing is definitely up there. It's in my top 3. But I go sweet potato casserole and I go collard greens. Those are my top 2.
Now, are you a stuffing inside the bird, or do you cook stuffing outside the bird?
Outside. Then just like I like being. We do both. Like we do. I like it in the bird too, but my family does it outside.
My family does it inside. Actually, we do both. We're a stuffing family. We do both.
Stuffing is good. We do. Do you do it for Christmas too?
Oh yeah. The whole
100%. 100%.
Now, I've never had a deep fried turkey. Have you?
Mm-hmm. My dad's done it a couple times. Done it outside on the driveway.
See, just because there's so many fires here in Michigan, my family was no, never. We're traditional in the oven, bake. We cook some bacon on it. We have a little syringe. We insert some grease into it to that way keep
Yep.
it moist. But
I prefer oven.
stuff.
I prefer the
Oh,
oven.
okay.
You know what my
What about
family
a
used to do? Back in the day,
smoker?
what we used to do for Thanksgiving was get together, like all the extended family. There'd be like 40, 50 of us, and we'd go pheasant hunting and get like fresh pheasant for Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Like
All
the
right.
day of.
I respect that. Yeah, it's always a good holiday. You get a chance to see the family. I don't see them as much as I could. Always good. And speaking of family, I'm live at my sister's place right now in my brother-in-law's den. Gonna hammer out this show, so let's jump right into it. Interesting week. What's your week 12 takeaway, my friend?
I'm buying in, Eric. I'm ready to get hurt again. My Miami Dolphins are like
Oh.
they're right there, dude. I'm looking at like the
Jimmy.
playoff stuff, and I'm just like I'm not believing quite yet. I don't believe, but I'm on like the precipice of believing, and I'm ready to get hurt again. They're playing good.
Oh,
They're
Jimmy,
playing good.
Jimmy, you're gonna hate one of my bets, dude.
You showed me, and I do hate it. We'll talk about it with your bet. I have some takes, but like this is an important game this week. This one will factor a lot. This one will be a big opinion thing for me.
Big opinion game.
This one, like a lot of my feelings going forward on the season, whether or not it's going to be like, we can like maybe hurt someone else's season and just like fuck around and like destroy someone else's dreams, or like, there's an outside shot, we could maybe make the playoffs and maybe even do something. That hinges a lot on this coming week.
But do you feel there's a locker room issue just because someone tweeted out, I went into the Dolphins season expecting the offense to be centered around Waddle and Tyreek Hill, and now it's centered around Jonnu Smith and Devon Achane, and then Tyreek Hill retweeted that and said, me too.
No. Waddle had his game. Tyreek's had his games.
He's only
Johnny's
had
a
one
beast.
game. He's only had one game where he's gone over 100. One game. Right? Tyreek, one game over 100.
Dude,
Jonnu Smith is getting more targets.
It's Jonnu Smith.
The 8th best tight end in the game, dude. Let's feature him.
And it's working. It's working.
Against sub 500 teams.
Hey, they were competitive against the Bills, damn it.
Okay, my takeaway. And you know how I am. Don't chase points. Don't go for two. You know how I am.
Mm-hmm.
The Commanders should have went for two at the end of the game. They had all the momentum in the world. The defense is tired and dejected. You have to play for the win there. And I really feel that not playing for the win, and obviously hindsight's 2020, but you have a kicker that's already missed one extra point. You have a defense that's dejected, just gave up a huge pass for a touchdown where they're basically in a prevent defense. You got to step on their throat and go for the win. So right now we're going to see how good of a coach Quinn is, because we can see this team season derail after losing a game like that. We just saw it with the Bears a couple weeks ago where their season got off hinge off the Hail Mary. Now, when we look at the Commanders, they have the Titans on deck who are pesty, elite defense. Guess which team has allowed the second fewest passes over 20 yards this season and has allowed, the fewest explosive plays? The Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was going to take a wild guess at the Titans there. It's the Titans.
The defense is elite. Then the bye. Then they're playing the Saints, who are running the ball great. Commanders have one of the worst defenses against the run. Eagles, who have one of the better run games after that. The Falcons with Bijan Robinson. The Cowboys, who you just lost to. That's their season right there. What is that, 2 wins? We're living in a world right now where the Commanders could not make the playoffs, where Jaden Daniels, who was the third betting favorite for the MVP, minus 400 to win Rookie of the Year, may not even win Rookie of the Year.
Do you think he's hurt? You think he looks still hurt?
He looks to me like he's scared to get hit.
Well, the rib injury, I think, is affecting that.
I don't know if that's because he's still hurt or he was running around carefree and then got popped and is like, oh, shit, I don't want to get hit anymore. You know what I mean? Because he's frail. I think my finger's better than him. He is a small guy, and I don't know. I just think that this Commander season could really unravel. I took a sniff at them at plus 500 not to make the playoffs 2 weeks ago, I think. And right now they're down to plus 150 not to make the playoffs. They're only one game up on the Cards. I mean, looking at the playoff picture right now, they're 7-5. They're above the Cardinals, who are 6-5, the Bucks, who are 5-6, the Rams 5-6, the 49ers 5-6, and the Saints, who are 4-7. I feel way more comfortable about those teams than I do the Washington Commanders right now, as crazy as it sounds.
I think this week will be like if they win comfortably, then like maybe.
I mean,
But again, it's the Titans. Like I think if they win and look good offensively, because they showed a little bit at the end of the game against Dallas, but you should never be in a game against this Dallas Cowboys. This week will determine whether or not they're going to start going off the rails. I think even if they do somehow go off the rails, they're going to play the Eagles tight. They play the Eagles tight. It's just what they do.
I'm in 2 Survivor contests. The first one, the circa one, I was eliminated when the Commanders beat the Bengals. This one, I was eliminated when the Commanders lost the Cowboys. I hate this team. I hate the Washington Commanders. I absolutely despise the Washington Commanders. I just despise them. You know what?
Also, shout out my boy Kevontae Turpin in that game for the Cowboys.
Just a pointless spin for absolutely no reason. I absolutely love it.
It looked good though. It was for show.
All right, guys, let's jump into the bets. But before we jump into the bets, Jim, you know what we got to do? We got to look back at next week.
4-2 week last week with Taylor hitting the Packers -2.5, Eagles -2.5, losing the Commanders -10.5. Old Uncle Rico hit the Browns +3.5, Bears +3.5, lost the Colts +7.5. For the show, we are in an insane 39, 23, and 1.
Jim, I don't think I've had you on since I've had like all my little high tech.
You haven't. This is all new. I like this. I like what's going on here.
A little bit high tech, little new game in the field. So those listening or watching for the first time, excuse me. How it goes is this: Jim and I each have 3 bets. Jim is the guest, so he's going to go first, and we're going to the Thanksgiving game. Jim, lay it on us.
Yeah, we're going to go chronological order here. I'm going to take the Cowboys. I am going to take them on Thanksgiving. It's like the Giants, are they like the most distraught fan base and team right now in the NFL? I feel like they're only starting DeVito to get. Is there a reason they're not starting Drew Lock?
There's contract incentives with Lock. I think there's one more game, and then they'll go back to him. But there's some contract incentives.
Okay, because like my whole thought is like the genius analysis for the Giants is they really, really want to tank, but they also want to get butts and seats. Well, DeVito's the best way to do that because he's not going to win you any games, but the people love him, and he's a hoot. He's a riot. I love the guy. He'd make a great UFL quarterback for like 2 weeks. But I don't see it. The Cowboys coming with a little momentum. I am a little worried that Cooper Rush can't string 2 back-to-back good games. But all I need is a couple, like one big return from Turpin, and he's been killing it these last couple weeks. And I think that sets him up nicely. I'm taking the Cowboys -3.5. This is a disgusting Thanksgiving game. If you look at a lot of the Thanksgiving games, there's not a lot to really look forward to.
They're filthy, and I love it. Did you see? I have to say, I was never the Baker Mayfield fan, but I feel this year I'm becoming the Baker Mayfield fan. There was the part when there was the hurricane in Tampa, and this newscaster was just talking in the middle of the hurricane, and then there's Baker Mayfield on a jog, shirtless, just running by him, and he asks him a question. Okay, that's pretty cool. That's pretty badass. And then he scores the touchdown, and he starts doing the DeVito, the Tommy Cutlet celebration. They asked him about it, and he said it was a tribute to him. And then one of the ladies, reporter, was trying just to fuel the fire, goes, what'd she say to him? She goes, "Are you Italian?" He goes, "I don't know. I've never done a 23andMe." It was, this guy this year has just been classic. And
It's not just this year, Eric.
And he wears his emotions too. Like when the Bucks lost the coin toss against the Chiefs and that Monday night game, the look of dejection he had was just absolutely priceless.
Get on this Baker Mayfield train. I've been a fan of his for damn near a decade at this point.
I'll tell you what, I'm getting on, dude. My first bet. I'm going up to Green Bay. Give me the Green Bay Packers -3. Tua. When the temperature is 50 degrees or less, it's 29% ATS. And it's supposed to be 33 degrees and snowing.
Is that just NFL or is that all time? Because I could believe it in college too.
That's just NFL. Now, looking back at the Dolphins franchise the last 20 years, when it is 40 degrees or lower, is 35% against the number. It's just a Southern team that doesn't travel well north. Now, granted, like there's been some shitty, you can argue there's been like some down years in there and everything, but it's just kind of a trend for 20 years of struggle. Since 2005, favorites in the night game on Thanksgiving are 13-4. What was the Dolphins' best win this season? Monday night, when the Rams won the box score, when the Rams crossed the 50 on every possession they had, but only were kicking field goals and kept shooting themselves. When we look at the Dolphins' body of work, there hasn't been any good wins. Obviously, the Raiders game, they did cover the spread. That was a 5-point game, and then small Napoleon energy Mike McDaniel, for some reason, is calling pass plays when he should be running out the clock. That cost me my Raiders +7 ticket. LaFleur, 57% ATS in his career, as a home favorite, 62%. When he is laying 3 or more, 62.1%. I really feel the Bears game was an eye-opener to the Packers when they're like, hey, we have Jonathan Jacobs. We need to lean on the run game more. Dolphins are 26 DVOA defending the run. PFF has them graded as the 30th worst tackling team. Who is going to stop Josh Jacobs? He has 944 yards this season, averaging 4.7 yards per game. Packers, 11th DVOA in pass coverage. PFF graded the 6th best pass coverage. I think they're going to be able to limit the Dolphins' passing attack. Also, I mentioned it before when we were talking earlier. I think there's some locker room issues in Miami just because of that tweet that Hill put out. I thought the offense was going to be me and Waddle too. Finn's 26 in pressure rate. I don't think they're going to be able to get to Love, who struggles with pressure in his face. I think that the Packers have a matchup in the trenches. The trends tell me they're the side. I don't think they're going to be able to stop Josh Jacobs. Give me the Green Bay Packers -3.5.
That's the one I was referring to. Where like if the Dolphins end up squeaking a win here,
all right, sorry, Packers -3.
Yeah, I'm saying if the Dolphins get a little win here, that changes the whole narrative on how I feel on the season.
Okay,
I start or like this is like a very narrative defining one. Eric, can you guess Jordan Love's odds to throw an interception?
Oh my God, he leads the league in INTs. That's why I said they need to run the ball.
-150. -150.
Exactly.
He didn't throw one last week. First game of the season where he didn't throw an INT.
That's because they just leaned on Jacobs, man. Just lean on him.
We'll see.
Next game, dude, and this is a filthy one, and I love this one, and I'm probably going to be on it.
Give me the Raiders, baby. The Chiefs are playing with their food, and the Raiders just do this all the time. Remember late in the season last year where the Raiders just straight up beat them?
Yeah.
This is a gross game, and I've just been getting down in the muck fading the Chiefs. If the Chiefs are going to continue to lay these huge numbers, I'm going to continue to fade them. I'm sorry. I can't not do it. They're just squeaking by. They're coasting, and as bad as the Raiders look at a good chunk of the season, I don't care what they're doing at quarterback. I really don't care because it hasn't mattered all season who they have back there. They're going to keep it close. They're going to bring them down in the muck and just beat them to hell.
You mentioned the Raiders. Let me tell you something. I had the Raiders +6 last week, and you want to talk about a whirlwind of emotions. So they're in control of the game. Gardner Minshew throws a pick, leads to a touchdown. Now they're outside of the number. Okay, they're outside of the number. And so now I need a drive. They get a stop. I need a drive. I need a tutty. Minshew breaks his collarbone. Out trucks Desmond Ritter. And David, better DP21, friend of the show, him and I are tweeting back and forth. And I'm like, nothing like having a backdoor cover riding on Desmond Ritter. Ritter somehow leads them down the field. He does a weird backward flip pass to Tucker, who gets tackled on basically the 1 yard line, like half yard line. Can't get in. Now, I'm just like, they run a play. It was there. It was just a bad read by Myers. The worst thing that Ritter can do is take a sack. He drops back to pass, takes a sack. Game over. I'm like a foot and a half away from the cover, dude. And I'm just like, are you freaking kidding me, dude? But it's the joy of betting the Raiders. I'll be here too. I'm hoping for a 13. Like, there's a tribal casino where my parents live. Hopefully they have a 13 there posted because their odds can be a little whack. My next bet, and I'm going to stay on Thanksgiving Day. I'm going in chronological order. I went with Malik Neighbors over 53.5 yards receiving. Jim, are you familiar with the term the squeaky wheel gets the grease?
Yes. Yes, I am.
After the game against the Bucks, Neighbors said in a post-game interview how he needs to get the ball and how he didn't get any targets until they were down 30-0. DeBoll came out on Monday and said that he needs to do a better job of getting him the ball. So, for this limited week of practice, DeVito, Locke, whoever, all that's going to be drilled in their head is, oh, look, there's Neighbors. Neighbors was open there. You should have been going to Neighbors. So in all the film session, we're going to get these young, impressionable quarterbacks just said Neighbors, Neighbors, Neighbors. And we even saw it. I love doing this after a game where their alpha wide receiver doesn't get any targets, all in the weight room. That's all they're told. And we see a huge game. Even look at last week with Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley did nothing the week before. And in that film room was just, we need to get the ball to Ridley. We need to get the ball to Ridley. And Levis got him the ball, eight receptions. Cowboys, 23rd DVOA defending the pass. PFF has them graded the 25th in pass coverage. They run zone at the 12th highest rate. Neighbors lead the Giants in yards and against zone coverage and target share against zone coverage. Last 5 wide receiver ones that have faced the Dallas Cowboys have all got over this total, averaging 83.2 yards. Neighbor has got over this total 7 of 9 games. This season, 3 of 4. He leads the Giants in targets, receptions, and yards. Has a 29% target share. I think the number is down because of the quarterback situation in New York. He went over it last game, and with the post-game comments and what Joe Blow said, I expect a heavy dosage of Neighbors. So give me Malik Neighbors over 53.5 receiving yards.
I dig it, dude. He's got to be the guy. You got to just feed him, no matter who it is. Especially if it's Tommy Cutlets, they're gonna just feed the hell out of him.
That was my big takeaway during our NFL East preview show, that the Giants were going to take this year, get an offensive lineman, then tank the following year and draft Manning. That was my big prediction. So I don't know. Last bet, Jimmy, and this is a grimy one, and I love it.
Yeah, Titans plus 5.5. I do hate hinging a bet on Will Levis, and I've hated it all year because I couldn't. I don't know about you, Eric. I really haven't been able to quit the Titans a ton this year. I've always felt like it's the right side a lot of weeks, but I've been burned. I've been burned a lot, so I'm going to the well one more time. The defense is too good to quit. And like you said earlier in the show, the Commanders could be reeling. What better time to capitalize on that than a Titans team who is the definition of feisty? They hang around all the time. Their defense will keep them in games. And as bad as Will Levis can be, we have seen moments where he can just do a completely crazy throw to change a game. I think Will Levis is emerging as like a 99-cent store Jameis Winston with like some of the things he can do.
I mean, I think that's an insult to Jameis Winston, dude.
No, he's like the Dollar Tree version of Jameis Winston. Like Jameis Winston is the Whole Foods of entertaining chaotic quarterbacks, and Will Levis is like the Dollar Tree in the middle of the ghetto.
I am not going to lie. I haven't watched anything of football tonight. Is Akron winning right now? What's going on with Akron?
Yeah, they're keeping it close, dude. Toledo's looking ugly. Ugly. I think they may have actually just fully won it, right? Yeah. Erik, it's overtime right now. 14-14.
So let me ask you this. If you were Seattle, would you rather have Jameis Winston or Geno Smith?
I think Gino might give you the higher floor, but Jameis gives you a higher ceiling.
I want Jameis, dude. I think Jameis is. I think he's got the bigger arm, and I think
100% he does.
I think you hit the nail on the head. The ceiling of your team is a lot higher. You know, like
yes.
You may not. I think with Geno, you make the playoffs, you're happy. With Winston, you could mess around, win a playoff game or two, just because of what he can do.
And I think like if he is brought in as like he's gonna be the starter and he trains it up just like that, because since the Bucks, he's just been a backup everywhere.
Yeah.
Only Saints, he got hurt or whatever. Like he's just been a backup everywhere. I think if he comes in as the starter, you'll see a different Jameis than what we've seen, where it's just been like super carefree and whatnot. I like him.
No, I am at my sister's house. Sports facts. I am at my sister's house. No, I am too old for a Blackout Wednesday cameo. But I appreciate the thought. My last and final bet, and I'm going back to the well.
I love
Give me
this
the
one.
Steelers +3. I say it every week. Tomlin is a favorite we fade. As a dog, we back. He is a dog this week, so we're going to back him here. As a dog, 66%, 61, 31, and 3. On the road, 62% ATS. Getting 3 or more, 67.2% ATS. In the months of November, December, and January, 72% ATS. As a dog after a loss, 62%. PFF has the Bengals as a bottom 10 offensive line. They're the PFF second worst run blocking unit, 9th worst pass blocking unit. How are they going to be able to protect against Watt or set up run lanes for Brown against Hayward? I really feel they're going to struggle moving the Brown. Bengals pass defense, 6th worst DVOA pass defense. PFF has them as the 9th worst pass defense. Wilson is going to be able to throw the ball. Who's going to stop Pickens? Obviously, they added Mike Williams. We're going to see more routes for Mike Williams. He's going to be the field stretcher that's going to open up the middle stuff for Freiermuth, Pickens, and even Jalen Warren coming out of the backfield. Plus, when we look at Jamar Chase, for his standard, he has struggled against the Steelers, only averaging 78.5 yards per game and only having one game over 100 yards. Steelers PFF grade, 3rd best defense, 7th best rush defense, 15th best pass defense. DVOA ranks 9th best, 8th against the pass, 12th against the rush. I think the Steelers defense is going to be able to limit Burrow. I think this is the best defense that Burrow has gone against. I think this game is going to be a lot like the Eagles, a step up in class for the Bengals defensively. They're going to struggle to move the ball. Steelers are going to be able to take advantage of the Bengals back four and get some points on the board. Give me the Steelers in the bounce back after the loss in the Snow Bowl. Give me the Steelers +3.
Love it. This was the other one I was struggling with to like include on the show, and I love the Steelers here. Just like I said, Tomlin is a dog, and as good as the Bengals like, what I like doing is actually a couple of these weeks I've tried to like parlay Joe Burrow passing yards and touchdowns over with Bengals loss.
The Bengals are bad.
I mean,
They're
they're
straight
like
up bad.
really,
He's got to go. Like he's on the verge of having to go, right? The Taylor or whatever.
yeah, he's going to be gone after this year. We saw a little dissension with Chase saying he's not the one calling base. Look, if the Burrow would be in the MVP conversation if they were winning, and now look, guys, I know what's his face. Barkley is getting a little hype as the MVP right now, but we need to face facts. He's a running back. He's not going to get it. It's going to be Josh Allen. So the money you're going to put at Saquon Barkley at a bad price, just put it at Josh Allen right now. He's plus 400. And then just think old Uncle Rico in January, February. Just thinking. Just put it on him right now.
You want to sprinkle a little bit on golf?
No, Goff won't get it. I feel like they're going to give offensive rookie of the year. In my eyes, I think Bowers is going to make a late push for it because I think that the Broncos and I think that the Commanders are going to crash back down. People are going to start to notice what Brock Bowers is doing and the records he's setting. So I'm going to go him. Defensive rookie of the year, the kid from Bears, the kid from the Rams. I think he's going to get it.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to give Cam, I think the Lions award. I think it will be coach of the year. I think they're going to hand that to him. I think defensive rookie of the year, I think they're going to give that to the Steelers. So I think that's going to go to Watt. What am I missing? Offensive player of the year, that will be Saquon Barkley.
Oh yeah.
MVP will be the Bills. Bills have an easy schedule, so they're going to give it. This will be Josh Allen should at least have one MVP by now. This will be the year they give it to Josh Allen.
I see the logic, and I follow everything that you're saying.
I think that the thing with Goff that's going to be made is those games against the Titans and he had that bad 3-game stretch where it was against the Texans, Packers, and that they're going to you know what? Full transparency, I'm blocked by Colin Cowherd on social media, but when I was going through TikTok, he did make a good point. Like, his point was this: it doesn't matter who the Lions play in the playoffs. Their offensive line is just going to take teams out of their rhythm because they're just going to lean on them for 8-minute drives at a time. And that's true because the Lions play at such a slow pace, a lot of turnaround, lean on the offensive line, shorten the game, stuff like that. So, Jim.
What I took away from all that, Eric, is you don't believe for Rookie of the Year.
I don't believe, because you know what? He has happy feet. I don't believe in Van Joseph. I don't believe in Sean Payton. I think they're overachieving right now. I think Jameis Winston is going to come in there. I think Jerry Jeudy before the game is going to look at Winston and say, "Yo, Winston, give me the rock." Jerry Jeudy is going to have over 100 yards. Winston's going to lead him to another victory. Winston's going to get that team up to 5 wins. God, can you imagine if Jameis Winston gets the Browns? So, timeout. Just imagine this. If the Browns sneak into the playoffs somehow, just bear with me a second.
Okay, we're going to fantasy land, but I'm there with you.
No, just bear with me here. Just bear with me. NFL playoff. What is it? Standings. All right. So I'm looking at this right now, Jim. All right. NFL playoff standings. Okay, we're looking at the AFC. The Browns right now. So if they beat Denver, the Browns, they're going to be at 4-8. Okay. And then they're right there because the Colts, and the Dolphins only have 5 wins. And if they both lose, I'm telling you, Jim, dude, could you imagine? Time out. Just hear me out. As crazy as it sounds, how funny would it be if Jameis Winston comes in and he leads the Browns to the playoffs? I know it's probably not going to happen because I'm looking at their schedule. I'm looking at their schedule right now. I mean, their schedule is a little brutal with games at the Browns, at the Steelers, Chiefs at home, at the Bengals, Dolphins, and then at the Ravens. I mean,
it would be very funny,
schedule.
Though. It would be very funny, though.
And then there's back-to-back years where a quarterback comes in, wins most improved player, and then they go back to Deshaun Watson the following year.
If you're Stefanski, are you just ripping your hair out if that happens again?
Oh, yeah. But, I mean,
what I heard is they're going to have to tie their second round pick. And they'll probably have to tie their second round pick and Watson for like a fourth round pick to the Panthers. That's going to be the trade.
That's
second round and Watson just to get off his contract. So,
Jesus.
Jim, I'd like to thank you for coming on for a special Thanksgiving episode on the Etoft21 Sports Show. Always a pleasure to have you on. This has kind of been the tradition the 3 years I've been doing this. You've been the go-to guy. I think you've been on here the most. I appreciate our friendship. I consider you a friend. You know, one of the most talented guys I know. Why don't you tell everyone where they can find you on social media and whatnot?
You can find me everywhere: YouTube, Twitch, X, the Everything app, as they like to call it, Blue Sky, Twitter, Instagram. I'm all over at XFL Gym everywhere. I got a lot in the tank. You can find me and this guy, Spring Fever, every Wednesday night. It's a good time. I think I don't know if we're doing it this week or not because of Thanksgiving and stuff going on, but the next episode we have a lot to talk about. The UFL looking to do some expansion there. They're looking for cities right now. And then I also just wanted to shout out, I got this in the mail yesterday. I got a Cole Boozer DC Defenders 2020 trading card.
How did you get that?
I ordered it online.
Look at you, dude.
Yeah.
And dude, I just followed you on Blue Sky. I love the profile picture.
Oh, it's a good one, right?
I love the profile pic.
It's a good one.
Absolute banger. Absolute banger. Appreciate you, dude. I hope you and your family have a good Thanksgiving. And guys, make sure to tune in next week. Best of luck in your bets, and we'll talk soon, my friend.
Hell yeah. Thank you, Eric.